You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.
Bitcoin, Ether, Solana, Doge, and more. Cryptocurrencies and digital assets are taking the financial world by storm. This exploding market provides everything a savvy trader needs: volatility, volume, and liquidity, provided you know how to find it. That's where we come in. Welcome to the Crypto Rundown. Each week, we'll break down the latest trading activity, trends, and developments throughout the world's leading crypto derivatives markets. If it's moving the crypto markets, then you'll find it on the Crypto Rundown. The Crypto Rundown is brought to you by Amber Data. If you're entering the digital asset class, you'll need access to granular on-chain and market data from multiple venues to power research, trading, risk management, and compliance. Amber Data delivers comprehensive data and insights into blockchain networks, crypto markets, and decentralized finance, empowering financial institutions to apply traditional finance methods to digital assets. Amber Data eliminates the infrastructure setup, integration challenges, and maintenance headaches to access digital asset data, reducing cost and time to market to enter the digital asset class. Learn more and download their digital asset data guide at www.amberdata.io. Now it's time to dive into the exploding world of crypto derivatives. It's time for the Crypto Rundown.
All right, everybody, that music means we are back once again. It is time for your hot options report for Monday, February 9th. My name, of course, Mark Longo from theoptionsinsider.com, as well as from the network upon which all of you have been mainlining your options podcast since 2007. Make sure you subscribe to the full network wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And, of course, if you want to go above and beyond, you want to join us for the pro, including a great upcoming pro Q&A coming up tomorrow with our good buddy, Mr. Vixologist, talking all things vol and VIX, theoptionsinsider.com/pro. And while you're checking things out online, make sure you're always checking out thehotoptionsreport.com. Go ahead, fire it up right now. I'll wait. You can follow along with the show up there, thehotoptionsreport.com, the place to go to kick the tires and light the fires, listeners. As we go on out to our top 10 out there today, listeners, was it a wild day out there in the market? The answer was no, listeners. It was close. It was respectable, but not quite blowing the doors off out there today, listeners. After last week costing you 1 million contracts or more to break into the top 10, not quite at that threshold out there today, listeners. It cost you a little bit under 500,000, 482,000 contracts to be precise, to get you to our top 10 today, listener. That gets you to our old pal, the monster. Yes, good old MSTR coming in at the number 10 spot today. A wild week in all things Bitcoin and indeed MSTR. If you want a full breakdown on all that, make sure you listen into the full network and check out our Crypto Rundown program. We just finished it a little while ago here on the network today. Wild stuff. Strategy rallying back a little bit today, up $3.50 or 2.6% to close 138.44, putting up 482,000 contracts for the number 10 spot. The hot option out there in the monster today, 22,000 of the 150s. Average price for these, $1.36, listeners. You like that strike 150 by the end of the week, listeners? If you do, maybe you think these are a scoop. Either way, let's keep climbing to the number 9 spot, a name that has been climbing for some time. This is good old Alphabet, putting up 557,000 contracts for the number 9 spot out there today. Rallying about $1.50 or about 0.5% to close 324.32. Again, putting up 557,000 contracts today. And the hot option in Alphabet Class A today, 34,000 of the 370s. Now, before you say that's a wild strike, you are right. But these are not expiring the end of this week or even the end of the month. These are going all the way out to May. So maybe you like these. Not cheap, though. You're buying some duration. $9.02 was the price on these bad boys. So you're getting some time. You're pretty far out of the money there as well, but maybe you think that's a decent trade as we keep climbing to number 8, another name that was climbing today. This is Meta, closing $677.37, up nearly $16 or almost 2.5%, putting up 598,000 contracts. For the number 8 spot out there today, the hot option in Meta, 18,000 of the 680s expiring today, listeners. So again, we're going back to the well of the 0-day contracts. The high today was 683.31, so these had their brief shining moment in the sun. The average price was $1.95, so obviously if you paid that price and rode them through the close, you gave up about $2. But you had moments intra-session to trade these back and forth and probably do all right. As we keep climbing to the number 7 spot, it's AMD. His name has had a wild start to the year and a wild day again today, closing at $216 exactly, up $7.56, or about 3.6%, putting up 606,000 contracts. For the number 7 spot, the hot option in AMD today, 63,000 of the 187 half puts. Again, kind of a wild strike. Average price for these, $1.12. This was opening paper. And before you say 187.5 by the end of this week, getting a little bit more time this time, listeners. These are not expiring today or Wednesday or Friday. They are expiring next Friday. These are regular monthly 187 half puts. So perhaps if you're looking for another route in AMD before the end of the month, perhaps you like these. Or perhaps you think they're a screaming sale as we keep climbing to a name that was a screaming sale for much of last week, rallying back today. This is Palantir. Palantir closing $142.94, up $7 or a little over 5%. So rallying back to life today. Palantir putting up 619,000 contracts. For the number 6 spot out there today, the hot option in Palantir, 31, nearly 32,000 of the 150s. Average price for these, $1.53. And once again, we're going to the end of the week here, listeners. So 150 by the end of the week. Got close, got up to almost 146 intraday. So maybe you like these as a nibble as we keep climbing to the number 5 spot out here today, listeners. This is our old pal, Mr. Softy. It's been a rough year. It's been a rough couple of weeks post-earnings for Mr. Softy. Gaining back some ground today, though, rallying $12.57, or a little over 3%, to close $413.72, putting up 814,000 contracts for the number 5 spot out there today. The hot option in Mr. Softy got the 415s expiring today, so another 0-day foray, changing hands nearly 47,000 times. Average price for these about 35 cents. And you know where we closed. If you rode them through the close, it was not a good trade if you bought them. And looks like we never even got there intraday. We got close, got within spitting distance, 414.89. Maybe that was close enough to lure you to the dark side of buying some of these, but if you did, unfortunately, not a great trade for you. Selling was the way to go as we keep climbing to the number 4 spot. This is the name that was selling off today. This is Apple, closing $274.62, off 3.25 or a little over 1%, putting up 1.14 million contracts for the number 4 spot out there today. And the hot option in the fruit company today, 128,000 of the 275s. Average price for these, about 25 cents. Like paper might have been selling these, in which case this was the right way to go, even though you were sweating. The stock got up as high as 278.20, so. And it was rallying again before the end of the day, before closing at 274.62. So if you sold these for a quarter, you were sweating. But you ended up with a pretty decent trade as we keep climbing to the number 3 spot, listeners. This is the Amazonians. They were selling off today as well, selling off $1.60 to close 208.72, putting up 1.63 million contracts for the number 3 spot out there today. The hot option in the Amazonians. Once again, we're going 0-day. We're going to the 210s expiring today, changing hands 128,000 times. Average price for these, 66 cents. Once again, if you bought these for that average price and rode them through the close, not a great trade, but the high intraday was nearly 213. So these were looking pretty good until they weren't, listener. So once again, you had to be a little quick on the trigger finger, or you had to sweat if you sold them. But either way, you could have had a decent trade on your hands if you played your cards right. As we keep climbing to the number 2 spot out there today, it's Tesla. Tesla rallying 621 or 1.5% to close 417.32. Putting up 2.02 million contracts for the number 2 spot out there today, the hot option in Tesla. You know it's expiring today. It's a question of where we're going. We're going to the 420s once again, changing hands 143,000 times for an average price of $1.08 today. And once again, if you rode them through the close, not a great trade, but we got as high in the stock, I should say, as 421.25. So these were worth at least $1.25 at one point today before the sell-off kicked in there, listeners. So once again, you had opportunities on both sides of this trade. But if you rode the long side through the close, not a great trade. All right, now let's keep climbing to the number 1 spot, a name that's been climbing quite a bit the last few sessions. This is Nvidia. Closed 190 pretty much exactly today, up 463 or 2.5%. Putting up 2.28 million contracts for the number 1 spot today, the hot option in Nvidia, 155,000 of the 192 halves. Average price for these, 47 cents. Once again, if you bought them, rode them through the close, not a great trade, but you had moments intra-session. The high was 193.66, so these were looking pretty good until they weren't. That's kind of the theme for the top 10 today, listeners. And that is going to do it for your hot options report today. Back again tomorrow for all of our pro friends, tackling all your questions about volatility and the VIX. You're going to want to check that out, theoptionsinsider.com/pro. And no matter what you're doing tomorrow, we'll be back after the closing bell. So make sure you're following along. Thehotoptionsreport.com is the place to go to generate your own reports. See you back after the closing bell tomorrow. Another episode of the Hot Options Report. And stay safe out there.
You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network. For more quality options programs, visit www.theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app, available in iTunes and on Google Play.